Hi, I'm District 6 Councilmember Chris Judd. Welcome to my Council Conversation Show. We're here today to talk about economic development and Surprise. How do we attract businesses to Surprise? What kind of business activity is on the horizon? What do we know about Costco? And can we get more Burger Kings? Economic development is an important topic in our community, and it drives new head of household jobs. It brings new retail places and opportunities to complement our tremendous growth. Today I'm joined by an award-winning rock star of the economic development world, Director Jeanine Jerkovic. Welcome to the show, Jeanine.
Well, thank you for having me. It's always a pleasure to see you. And I've never attracted a Burger King in my life. So I just want to let you know that.
So the 4 or 5 more that we have on the horizon, those aren't going to happen?
Oh, no. Well, if the market wants it, if they look at the market demographics and say that's where we need to be, sometimes there's little we can do to prevent that.
Yeah, well, I guess people spending their money there. That's
right.
That's where they'll go. Well, we want to hear about some of the fantastic things that you have that you're working on here in Surprise, but before that, I want to hear a little bit more, or a little bit about how you came to be the director of the Surprise Economic Development Team.
Well, I appreciate the question. I've been enthusiastic about the city of Surprise for going on 15 years. So I've raised my children here, and it's been a great life here. So I believe in Surprise. I grew up in my career through the Greater Phoenix Economic Council. I worked for the state for a short time, I always grew up in the West Valley. So when I came back to Surprise about 4.5, almost 5 years ago, after working in another West Valley city, and it was an opportunity that I couldn't refuse. This is a dynamic community that I feel so strongly about. It's got enormous potential. We have limitless opportunity here. So it's a true pleasure to serve the residents and to be a part of this community. That's really how it came about.
Well, and you make it look so much fun too. You guys, every time I see you guys, you're having fun. It's the economic development corner. We're doing all the fun stuff.
And I appreciate that. I always say, when you're in a city called Surprise, you have to be fun. But if we were boring, that would be really not.
Not surprising.
Not surprising, yeah. Right? So it's so from my perspective, it's the name of the community, the growth in the community, and all that we offer is part of the fun. So right. we have to bring some creativity to it, and that's how we can stand out.
Well, good. So can you tell us about some new businesses that are coming to Surprise?
Well, sure. You might see a lot of new construction happening. The Abrazo Micro Hospital will be our first hospital in Surprise. I know we've got an amazing partner with the Del Webb Hospital right on our border, but here in Surprise, the Abrazo Micro Hospital is under construction at the 303 in Bell. I also am very excited to talk about Bonfire. Okay. And they, if you read the article about them, they've got s'mores for appetizers. So right. We've all got to check that out. I also want to talk about the the very eastern portion of Surprise. Angry Crab is looking at opening. They've got quite a following, so we're excited about that. A lot of residents told us in the last survey they want a new seafood restaurant, so we think that's exciting, and it's a trendy restaurant.
Yeah.
And right next to them is a new theater production company called Stage Left.
Yeah.
So we hope people will check that out. And just maybe one other, there's a site plan out there that I've seen. I haven't even seen inside the new EOS Fitness, but I encourage everyone to check that out because from what I've seen, it looks just beautiful. So I would encourage everyone to go take a peek.
Okay, and those guys are a great community partner as well, so yeah. Well, so we're always seeing new buildings going up and new businesses coming in. What kind of things does the economic development team do to attract business to Surprise?
We do a lot of things. So one thing I want to mention is that, when you bring up Burger King, those are great businesses, but the private sector is king. The private market will drive all of the decisions in the market, and the Economic Development Department is really responsible to build relationships within the private sector to help influence that, and we do that a number of ways. Marketing and branding. Sometimes it's personal marketing, so it's putting ourselves in positions to be in front of those deal makers and influencers, and some of the people that are making those, let's say, hiring decisions, those growing decisions to come into the market. So while it's a truly private sector opportunity, we have a responsibility in a high growth market to really show these decision makers that things are really happening here. You know, we are growing so quickly that there are times that, you know, the growth reports, the census reports, the economic impact analyses that are out there, they can barely keep up with us. So when we have those personal relationships and we can bring that information forward, it really does make a difference.
Well, good. And are you seeing anything interesting, or what kind of things do you see going on in our community now? What sort of activity do you see?
Well, you know, I think what's happening in your district in District 6 is particularly interesting. So that's really our manufacturing corridor. So there's a 2 square mile of land that is fully improved, foreign trade zone, and you're seeing new buildings there. So Trimaco just completed their occupancy, got their certificate of occupancy. Sika Packaging just completed their construction, and we're seeing a lot of I would call them advanced manufacturing companies that add value to the manufacturing. They're not just pushing product, storing product like a warehouse and pushing it out. They're actually creating value. So that's the value of what your district is really bringing. Iris USA is a great example. So, you know, anyone who's ever been to the Container Store has, you know, may have a product that was made right here in Surprise, and I think that's exciting. So advanced manufacturing is important. We don't have goals in Surprise. I like to say we have aims. So that stands for advanced manufacturing, which I just mentioned, innovation. We have a premier business incubator that I'm always happy to talk about. So innovation, attracting, let's say, autonomous vehicle companies to companies from all over the world who have innovations. Medical tourism, we're attracting premier medical end users and having great global conversations about what Surprise could be. And then finally, as we've talked about retail, signature retail. So our department, as I mentioned, we're out there having those conversations with those retailers that would not normally just make a decision to pop into Surprise. We're making the market happen.
Okay, yeah, and you're doing a great job of it.
Thank you.
Going back to the free trade zone, can you give just a real brief summary? What exactly is a free trade zone?
So it's a foreign trade zone is basically an area where, and Arizona has a great benefit. So Arizona's benefit offers not only the duty savings, so a company imports a product and they're able to basically treat it like a duty-free zone. So they're able to import a product and add value to it and leave and not pay a fee.
Okay.
On top of that, if you build a building in Arizona in a foreign trade zone, you get an additional tax benefit on your building. So it's a great savings, and we think it's all a net gain for Arizona. Yes, there's some temporary hit to the tax, but in the long run, people get hired, value is created, and great businesses happen. So that's the benefit of a foreign trade zone.
Okay. So before a business decides to come to Surprise and join our community, what sort of processes do you guys use to attract them here? I mean, what do you find them? Do they find you? What's the process?
It's a great question. So, as I mentioned, we have to be proactive. We have to think about our brand. I always say it's not about location anymore. It's about perception. So we're trying to tell a story about this market. And so one of the things recently at Council approved a contract with the Greater Phoenix Economic Council. The Greater Phoenix Economic Council and other partners like them help to drive an image of the region, of the state, and help bring in those decision makers to the market. So they may be kind of tip of the spear when somebody's making a location decision in the Western United States. So they bring us to the table and say, hey, we want to bring a location to the Valley. What does Surprise have to offer? And then our department would put the proposal together. Also, we might go to places where we meet those influencers. So we may go to a trade show in a target sector, and we may go to a sales sales market where, like California or Canada, where we're meeting with companies and having appointments with companies or site selection professionals and having conversations about what this market has to offer. So that's really the beginning of it. I always say this industry, it's a little bit like dating. So if I can say it's a little bit controversial to say that, but it's a lot like dating. You have to have a profile. You have to put yourself out there. And we just want to get to dinner. We want to get in front of that company because we believe in surprise. If we can get to dinner with a company, they're going to put a ring on it. They're going to want to come to Surprise. So that's ultimately the goal. And that's really how the process works.
Okay. And so it's a lot of catering to bigger companies. Is there benefit in a small company reaching out to the economic development department before they locate the Surprise? Or if somebody's just thinking about opening a business in Surprise, do they need to talk to the economic development team?
Yeah, it's a great question. I think there are tremendous benefits to working with us first, especially if you're a small company. So we set up the Arizona Techcelerator, AZ Techcelerator program a little over a decade ago, really to cater to those small businesses in the community. So when we started that program, it was a time when a lot of people were starting their own businesses. A lot of people were losing their jobs, and it was a difficult time, and we saw that as an opportunity in Surprise. So every business, from Intel to Avnet to anywhere, they started somewhere, and that's our philosophy. So we're looking for those businesses to come to us, and whether they start at the Techcelerator or if they're just getting started in a at a grocery center or somewhere, let us know. We want to take the pain out of the process. So we think we're a great place to start, although some businesses want to go about it themselves, and that's okay too. We're a resource, and so we're always grateful if people reach out to us so we can be of help.
Okay. Does it cost anything to reach out to economic development?
It costs nothing to reach out to us.
Okay.
And we're always happy when they do.
Well, it seems that I can't go anywhere these days without somebody asking me about Costco. I can't even go visit my mom. And I hear, when's Costco coming to Surprise? So do you have any updates on Costco?
Well, I'm not sure if I have any updates I can share other than, I say we continue to have amazing conversations with them, and I want to say thank you, if I may, to the public. That was part of one of our creative campaigns was to reach out to Costco through a survey, and the citizens and the residents of Surprise responded to a retail survey and consistently made Costco their top pick, and that genuinely helped us drive a first ever conversation with the company. So we're very grateful because really where we are today and having, I'll just say, enthusiastic conversations with them wouldn't have happened without that. And so as you know, we throw them a birthday party every year.
Right.
So it's something we do. And
that was even the news last year.
That's right. That's right. So I like to say, well, we hope to throw them a surprise party, and hopefully soon.
Hopefully one of these days they'll attend the surprise party as actual members of our community.
That's right.
Can you talk a little bit about how the retail survey works and how you utilize that?
It's a great question. It's really a dual purpose survey. So first of all, it's an easy way for us to really channel a lot of that social media energy that we have in this community, and it's huge, to help us really drive conversations with external retailers. The citizens here, they know what they want. They tell us with strong voices, and it really does, because of the volume of the survey responses we get, it's unlike anything I've ever seen before. We've gotten national awards for it, and I give all the credit to the residents. The secondary purpose is really to recognize really highly sought after or performing local retailers and restaurants. So every year, restaurants like Saigon Kitchen or State 48 are recognized and given certificates. But on the other side, the attraction, I will say the attraction survey that we do, it really does get results. We have productive conversations, I want to say, with every single business on that list, and proactively reach out. And it's definitely moved the needle. We can credit that survey for bringing In-N-Out Burger, which was the #1 most wanted restaurant for years and years, for Oregano's, for Texas Roadhouse, and really for some of the conversations that we can't even talk about. But if you look on that list, that they are.
Well, Costco hit #1 several years in a row on that list too, and now you're actively engaged with them.
That's correct. And so, when they saw that result, the conversation was really interesting. And I think it speaks to the high growth here. Their impression of surprise was probably 10 years old. So these retailers, they regularly are looking into different markets, and they may not visit the market, but they'll do a little bit of homework, and the local broker or somebody will give them information. And unfortunately, we're a high growth market, so sometimes that information isn't, right up to the minute, and that's where we come in. So we can interact with those companies on the list and really give them that up to the minute information. So when they saw our numbers, I think they were not like they expected. Our growth is fifth in the nation, I want to say, in terms of our population growth.
Right.
And West Valley overall, we see that continuing.
Yeah, and sure. And if you're a company looking at numbers that are 10 or 15 years old, they're really out of date, and
Right.
and they're getting bad data from it. So
That's
you
true.
guys doing a fantastic job.
Well, thank you. Even 1 year old, it really doesn't
Yeah.
tell the story. We're just a dynamic community.
Right. And you guys are a dynamic bunch, too. All right, so my last question is more of an observation.
Okay.
The Surprise Economic Development Team seems to be very creative in its approach to reaching new audiences. Do you have any upcoming campaigns that you'd like to share?
Sure. Well, other than throwing wild birthday parties for Costco, which I appreciate the opportunity to talk about, we do have a really fun one. And so I would love any of your viewers or anyone in Surprise to, log on to YouTube. So we've got our own YouTube channel. One that I think is interesting is called Snacks with Surprise.
Okay.
So, as I mentioned, we're constantly trying to have conversations with the private sector, but it's a noisy field out there. If we're at a trade show or we're out and about and we're having meetings, you need to break out of the norm. You have to find a way to stand out and make yourself memorable. And so one of the things we've done is to share a snack. It's a very human thing. We like to share food.
A snack.
We just share a
All
snack.
right.
So we call it Snacks with Surprise, and we like to do a 1 minute video, 1 or 2 minute, it depends, and because it's very spontaneous. So we'll share a fun fact about the snack, and ask kind of a question, sometimes a zany question, sometimes a serious question, and we'll film it and put it on social media.
Okay.
And so I have for you. I know we're on your show, but we're going to turn this into a quick Snacks with Surprise sample. I hope that's okay.
Okay, sure.
And so I have it on good word that you like Reese's peanut butter cups.
I
Is
love
that
Reese's
correct?
peanut butter cups. That's right.
So
especially cold and frozen on a hot day like today.
So I did put this in the freezer. So I'm going to hand this to you, and I'm going to have you unwrap.
And it's cold.
It's cold. So we've been freezing it since this morning. So as we walked over to the studio, you hope it's a little warm out that
Right.
it stayed. But so as you open it, so a quick fun fact about Reese's peanut butter cups: they were invented a long time ago, but during the Second World War, a lot of chocolate was rationed. So people weren't eating a lot of chocolate. Fun fact was that Reese's peanut butter cups were not rationed because they're more peanut butter in content than chocolate, so they were fine. We did not have to ration Reese's. So a very patriotic snack you've chosen today. So I have to commend you.
Good for the troops.
So as you enjoy a snack, so my question for you, so doing our research on you, I understand that you grew up in the West Valley. I grew up in the West Valley. We both grew up in Arizona.
Mm-hmm.
And I remember so many fun, speaking of retailers today, we had so many retailers in Arizona back in the day, which of course wasn't that long ago, but back in the day, we had so many.
Many of them are gone.
I know, so many that came and went, and there's so many today that have come and gone. But back then, I think like Lionel Play World or Swenson's Ice Cream Parlor or Smitty's, and what do you remember?
And so when I remember, so Thrifty, and we always like going to Thrifty for their cheap ice cream.
Oh, yeah.
Not that it was good ice cream, but it was cheap ice cream. And then right next door to Thrifty was this little place called Yellowfront. And Yellowfront's been gone forever now, but every once in a while I'll be going through someone's old tackle, my grandpa's old tackle box or something. We'll pull out a little package of hooks. They'll have a Yellowfront price tag on it. So it was, I guess we bought a lot of fishing stuff there.
Wonderful. Well, that's a great answer. That's a great answer. So, yeah, thank you so much for the opportunity to share a snack and to, tie in Snacks with Surprise.
And thanks for the snack. I hope I didn't get it all over my face. Well, thank you for joining me today, Jeanine.
Thank you.
It's been a lot of fun.
Thanks for having me.
And this was great.
Thank you.
So, and thank you for watching. If you have any questions or comments, please reach out to me by phone or email. I also welcome you to subscribe to my monthly newsletter, which is filled with the latest city news and information. Just click on the Notify Me button on my website to sign up. Thanks for watching.